Welcome back, favorite sixth graders. I'm going to keep talking about dividing fractions today. We're going to throw whole numbers into the mix. So today's lesson is entitled, How Do You Handle Whole Numbers in Fraction Division Problems? So if you would, please make this the title of the next free page in your math notebook. And after you've done that, put your math notebook to the side, unpause, and just give me your total concentration. Just look, listen, think till we get to redo. So we have done, we talked about a standard algorithm the other day for dividing fractions. We also had a visual strategy, if you remember that too. So when it comes to dividing fractions, we kind of had two strategies. I want to remind you of this one real quick today. So to divide two fractions, if I was going to divide, say, 3/4 by 1/6, our standard algorithm to do that was multiply by the reciprocal of the second fraction. And remember, this word reciprocal simply meant to sort of reverse the numerator and the denominator on a fraction. So if we're going to do 3/4 divided by 1/6, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal of the second fraction. That's what reciprocal means. And the first one stays the same. So instead of dividing 3/4 by 1/6, our algorithm is to multiply it by 6 wholes, which is just a quicker way to do it. And that's going to give us 18/4, which is, let's see, 4/4 is 1, 8/4 is 2, 12/4 is 3, 16/4 is 4. That's 4 wholes, and then there would be 2 more fourths. So 3/4 divided by 1/6 is 4 2/4. So today I want to talk about what to do in the event that there's a whole number in the problem. So this one says there's a famous relay race in which 4 runners run a total of 2/3 of a mile in that race. How far does each runner go? So they run a total of 2/3 of a mile, but it's divided by 4 runners. So the question we want to, or the problem we kind of want to try to solve here is 2/3 of a mile divided by 4 runners. So in this event, we've got a whole number, and our algorithm doesn't work now, right? If I wanted to multiply by the reciprocal here, I can't do a reciprocal of the second number because it isn't a fraction. So I need to make it a fraction in order to do that. So 4 wholes, the way we deal with a whole number in a fraction division problem is we write it like this. So any number that's a whole number can be written with a denominator of 1. I'm going to kind of do it in like dotted lines because it's, you don't have to write it that way. But this is how you would write like 4 wholes as a fraction. It's like you can take the 4 and it's, dividing them into 2 parts makes halves, dividing them into 3 parts makes thirds. Dividing them into 1 part still keeps them as wholes. So you can take a whole number and you can write it with a denominator of 1. And then you can do the algorithm. So what's nice about that, sorry I wrote it wrong, is now I can do, okay, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. Oh, I needed some more space. I'm running into my own stuff here, sorry. So I want to do that. So the first thing I've got to do is make my whole number into a fraction, right? So now my new problem is sort of 2/3 divided by 4 wholes. The reason I did that is this does have a reciprocal. I can reverse the numerator and the denominator on this fraction. So now when I do my multiply by the reciprocal strategy, I can do it. So this is going to turn into 2/3 times 1/4, which is 2/12 or 1/6. So in this case, each runner runs 1/6 of a mile. Each 1/6, 1/6, 1/6, 1/6, and you would get 2/3. So that's how you deal with a whole number in a fraction division problem. sometimes the whole number comes with a fraction too, and I also want to talk about dealing with that. So I want to do one more I do here before we go to a we do. So this one says I've got 4.5 ounces of hot chocolate mix. A cup of hot chocolate needs 2/3 of an ounce of mix. How many can I make? So this is a division problem because I've got some mix and I'm dividing it into groups. So what I want to do is divide these. All right? And I've got a whole number again in my problem. So this is kind of what's going to drive what's new today, is how do I deal with this when you're here. I can already do my, this is division, I can already change this to my multiply by the reciprocal algorithm. The problem is I don't know how to multiply 4.5 by that. I have a way to multiply fractions. I don't have a way to multiply it, this is called a mixed number, by a fraction. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change that also into an improper fraction. So rather than writing it as 4.5, I'm going to change the 4 into halves as well. So 2 halves would make 1 whole, 4 halves would make 2 wholes, 6 halves would make 3 wholes, and 8 halves would make 4 wholes. So this 4 wholes I can really rewrite as 8, oops, I wrote it at 4, sorry, as 8 halves, plus this other half makes this 9 halves. So I'm going to rewrite 4.5 as 9 halves. 2 halves makes 1, 4 halves makes 2, 6 halves makes 3, 8 halves makes 4, plus this other half makes 9 halves. And now I'm ready to do it. That I can multiply. 3 halves by 9 halves, that is something that I'm able to multiply and able to do. 9 times 3 is 27. 2 times 2 is 4. So I can make 27/4 cups of hot chocolate. That's not a very helpful number. I think I'm going to turn that into a mixed number so I know how many I can actually make. Said how many cups can I make, and I don't know how many cups that is. So 4/4 makes 1, 8/4 makes 2, 12/4 makes 3, 16/4 makes 4, 20/4 makes 5, 24/4 makes 6, 28/4 would make 7, but I don't have that many, so I can do 6 wholes, and I'd have 24, and I'd have 3/4 left. So I can make 3/4, 6 3/4 cups, so really we can make 6. But we have a fraction left for the next one. Okay, if you would, open up your math notebook and let's do a couple together. All right, you can go ahead and pause and write the question down, and unpause when you are ready. So we're actually going to do 2. We're going to start with this. A chef has 4 pounds, sorry for my grammar, of ground beef to make burgers. Each burger will be 2/3 of a pound. How many can she make? So this is definitely a division problem. She's got 4 pounds of ground beef. Each one will be 2/3 of a pound. So 4 divided into groups of 2/3. How many can she make? So my algorithm to do this is to multiply by the reciprocal of the second fraction. So that's all well and good. So I'm going to change it to 4 times 3/2. And then the whole number is what I don't know how to deal with, right? I know how to multiply 2 fractions, but I don't have an algorithm for when one of the numbers is not a fraction. So if it were a fraction, that would be easy to multiply. So I'm just going to turn it into one. You can write any whole number with a denominator of 1. I kind of sometimes do this so that I remember that I'm adding it. But another way to write 4 is like this. That's like saying 4 wholes. Excuse me. So 4 wholes. And that I can multiply by 3/2. No problem. 4 times 3 is 12. 1 times 2 is 2. And 12 halves, 2 halves makes 1, 4 halves makes 2, and so on. That's actually equal to 6 burgers. So that's how you deal with a whole number when it is by itself. For part B of the question, I'm saying, oops, she dropped half a pound on the floor. How many can she make now with 3.5 pounds of beef instead of 4? So that's going to change my problem to 3.5 divided by 2/3. The first part doesn't change. I can still multiply by the reciprocal of the second fraction. And my problem again is with the first one. I don't have a strategy to multiply 3.5 by 3/2. So I'm going to have to change that first mixed number into a fraction. So 2/2 makes 1, 4/2 makes 2, 6/2 makes 3. There's my 3. Plus 1 more half. That's going to be 7/2 times 3/2. Which means she can make 21/4 of a burger. This is a right answer, but it's a very confusing right answer. The question was, how many burgers can she make? It would be weird to say, hey, you can make 21/4 of a burger. It is right in that. It is just confusing. And so we're going to go ahead and make that into a mixed number so that we answer the question clearly. 4/4 makes 1. Got fourths. 8/4 makes 2. 12/4 makes 3. 16/4 makes 4. 20/4 makes 5, and I'm very close to that, plus 1 more fourth. So if she drops some of the burgers on the floor, she can make 6 with all of it. Can only make 5 1/4 burgers now after accidentally dropping some. So squad, that is how you deal with a whole number in a fraction division problem. You either make it into a fraction with a denominator of 1, or turn it into an improper fraction if it's a mixed number to begin with. And then it's not too bad. So if this was confusing, I encourage you to go back and check out the I do or the we do again. Make some things more clear. If not, and you feel like you have a good handle on it, you are all set and ready for you do together. Good job.